Welcome to episode 12 of VYPE Recruit Spotlight. Another Friday means another episode where we give you some inside scoops on what's going on across the state of Texas when it comes to high school recruiting. And we took a look at some under the radars, and of course, as always, we have our interviews that happen every week. But before we do that, I always like to bring in my co-host. I'm Wac, by the way, Jackson and Will. And let's see how y'all are doing this week. Jackson, how you doing, man?
Doing good. We had some exciting news in the office this week. One of our coworkers, Scott Terrell, had his baby this week. So very excited for Scott. Shout out to Scott. And just some big news in recruiting this week as well.
Well, how about you, man? How you doing today?
Yeah, doing pretty good. Just wrapping up my last few weeks as a high school student, getting ready for that next chapter, and yeah, recruiting nice and easy right now.
It's always easy to forget just because of how good you are at what you do that you're still in high school. So congrats on getting close to moving to Nebraska, moving out of the great state of Texas. But let's talk about the great state of Texas. Some recruiting news to get to. Let's start with Will this week. Will, let us know some of the news that's been happening across the state that you want to fill us in on.
Man, did Michigan State have a great weekend or what? We had heard about it a few days before that they had some big name visitors. That was probably an understatement. They got guys from all across the country. Ruben Owens and DJ Hicks were both there. Apparently, they made a great, first contact with those two guys, and were able to get them up to East Lansing. This is a team to really look out for. Late here, they don't always bring in a lot of guys from Texas, but they already have Kendrick Riscano from New Caney and Bo Edmondson. So those are two names from the state of Texas. I would not be surprised to see us get close to five by the time that early signing day rolls around. Chico Holt from my school, Straight Jesuit, was also up there last weekend in Michigan State. He's had some contact with Michigan as well, and he is planning a visit up to Gainesville at some point in the next few weeks.
Yeah, it really seems like Michigan State is kind of upping their recruiting game, especially when it comes to the state of Texas. What do you think? Is it just right place, right time? The new coaching regime. What do you think it is, Will?
Yeah, I think you buy into Mel Tucker, given that huge deal, and to be honest, you're great. You're consistently great just for a single year. You know, they've had so many years where they've started out great and it ended up really poorly. It's not like they were a playoff team this year, but they were a whole lot closer than they've been in past years. And to get a guy like Edmondson early on as your quarterback, and then add Kendrick Riscano, who was probably, the most underrated, and I hate to say that because, he is rated so highly, but not talked about with the top running backs in the country. I think this could really, change the way we see Michigan State as a whole, and you just need that one weekend where they get a couple guys in the top 100, they get a couple guys in the top 50. You're going to see one or two commit after that. They may not be your biggest commits of the year, but those are going to be guys like Bobby Taylor from A&M last year who kind of propel you to having a great class.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Let's move on to Jackson here. Jackson, give us some of that news across the state of Texas that you want to fill us in on.
So some of the news I got from this week are DJ Lagway Jr. has been really confirmed as the future QB1, the guy that Texas A&M wants. He's top 5 in the country, 5-star quarterback, number 1 dual threat. Everyone wants him. A&M made it very clear this week, traveling out to Willis to go talk to him. Another news I got is wide receiver class of 2024 from Klein Forest, Jelani Watkins picks up 3 big-time offers this week. He got Michigan State, who we were just talking about, LSU, and Louisville. I expect Watkins to keep picking up offers as the offseason kind of goes along. And Klein Forest has got a lot of talent over there, so don't be shocked if you see a lot more Klein Forest players start to pick up some offers pretty soon.
Moving on to me. No, first, before I move on to me, of course, Jackson, is that it for you for the news this week? Or you got anything else, any other juicy tidbits to drop in our lap?
I mean, that's all I really got. One thing I wanted to hop on with what Will was saying about Michigan State, I think having the new defensive line coach and Coach Jordan, who has trained a lot of local talent in the Houston area and in the Texas area, has helped them kind of propel them in Texas, which is why you're seeing Michigan State start to get some love from some of these recruits in Texas. Don't be shocked if you might see David Hicks Jr., who was there last weekend, start making some more trips up to East Lansing.
It always comes back to who you know in Texas, it kind of feels like. So, very good stuff going on for Michigan State. I got two kind of newsworthy commitments from this past week. First off, Quentin Joyner, probably he's definitely one of the top running backs in the state of Texas, but in the city of Austin, he commits to USC, kind of going back home from that area. So good get for USC. I think he's one of the better running backs in the state, and our the 247 rankings kind of confirm that. And then Braylon James commits to Notre Dame. Very interesting. You don't normally think Notre Dame getting big kind of commits, but I mean, they're always right in the hunt, and he's got over a 5. He's got a 5 point something GPA, so he's definitely smart enough, and I think he's got some ambitions beyond football, and so I think academics definitely played a role in that. I haven't spoken to him, just kind of, Notre Dame's known as a school where that's where you go if you want a good education, and seems like that's something that's important to him, and factored into his decision. Of course, the fun thing is he tweeted out a little graphic of him and Jaden Greathouse in Notre Dame jerseys, like, "Hey, come on, join me, Jaden." So, always stirring the pot, as we've seen recently with Texas high school commits. So we'll see what Jaden ends up doing. I think I think 247 has him projected as a Texas commit, which I know myself and Will would love. But we'll see what happens. So it's going to be. It kind of talked about it in my burning questions segment on our website VYPE.com. So if you haven't read that, go check it out. One of the burning questions I had was what's the team to watch in spring ball, and it was Westlake because they got a new head coach. They got Kate Klubnik's gone, and they're going for that rare four-peat. And who's going to be one of the leaders to step up, and that's going to be Jaden Greathouse. So he's got a great season ahead of him. But those are the two big names. Braylon James commits to Notre Dame, Quentin Joyner to USC. Anything else y'all want to mention before we move on to our interview for this week?
Yeah, I can't stress enough about Brandon Jordan being brought in as the I believe his position is actually the pass rush specialist. So not exactly, it's not a huge position, but a guy like that who knows people from Texas. You look, he used to post all the guys they train in the NFL, and that list is huge. Not only does he know guys from Texas, he knows guys from all across the country. So with his coaching and with the influence that he has, I would firmly expect Michigan State to have the best pass rush defense in the country within the next 2 or 3 years.
All right, then, Jackson, if you don't have anything further, let's jump to our interview for this week. Let me set it up for you. Actually, I'll just mention the name, and I'll let Will set it up because Will got this together. This week on our interview segment, we have a man named Mike West, who he's not a recruit. So some of you hear the name, like, the name doesn't sound familiar when it comes to the land of recruits. Well, he's not a recruit, because in this show we don't just interview recruits. We interview people. We interview coaches. We interview people that cover the high school recruiting realm. So, Will, who is Mike West, and kind of take it away from there?
Yeah, Mike West, 7-on-7 coach, businessman. This guy does just about everything. The H-Town Don. Mike really helped get me into the recruiting side of things. I would be remiss not to have him on this show. He was just up in East Lansing last weekend with Ruben Owens and DJ Hicks. Extremely excited for everyone to see this. This is, I've been waiting to do this for a very long time, and I think Mike is going to have a whole lot to say about the state of recruiting.
All right, well, let's jump to your interview with Mike West right now.
Well, thanks, Mike. Like I said, I am now joined by a man that really got me into the recruiting scene. Prime pick representation, Fourth Down Foundation, Texas Star 7-on-7. The list goes on of the organizations that Mike West has been a part of. Coach, thanks for coming on. So excited to have you here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for having me, Will, man. You my guy, so anytime I can rock with the people I vibe with, it's good energy for me. So I'm all for it, bro.
Of course, yeah. I mean, you've got so much knowledge about football, about academics, just everything in the realm that we talk about on VYPE Recruit Spotlight. So you are just about the perfect guest to have on. And Prime Pick Representation, that was the first organization that I mentioned. You just launched that a couple weeks back. How did that come about, and what's your vision there?
Okay, yeah. So Prime PPR kind of came about. It's crazy how it organically just kind of happened, because when I first started doing this, I really I really hadn't thought about going that far with it. I mean, I organically went to school to be an agent. Like when I was in college and I majored in sports management, my ultimate goal was actually like to be an agent. So everything just kind of came full circle. Talk about just trusting in God and like taking, just taking the leap when He tell you to move and being obedient. Everything just kind of came full circle with the NIL and the need for grassroots athletes to really need representation and really need somebody guiding them, helping them build their brands up and build their stock and build their value. So it pretty much, just came organically, like I said. And what PPR is, it is a grassroots representation brand. We help kids build their brands. We help them develop their performance so that they can actually have a brand, and we guide them through the process. And, beyond that, the next step is, hey, I am an athlete that needs representation. I am an athlete that needs to maximize my name, image, and likeness. Where do I go to from there? Where do I go from there? My family, maybe in a totally different realm of life, and they're not specialized in this market right here, in this particular niche. So, there's a need. So that's pretty much, where it came to, and it's natural for me. I, went to school to be an agent. I used to be, in the entertainment industry. I was a promoter. I did concerts. So all this is pretty much, this is like easy for me. Like people that really know me know, like I've been like, moving like this. I've been like, in the mix and all this kind of stuff. So like, this is just, like I said, ultimately it's just an organic thing that kind of happened.
You made the switch a few years back to go your own way. Why did you think that was necessary, not only from a personal standpoint, but from a community standpoint too?
Yeah, I honestly think I just got to the point where like I'm one of these people where like I don't open up much, and people tell me I need to start doing more like podcasts and like all this other kind of stuff. But naturally, like I'm good at it when I do it, but I'm really just a laid back, super chill person. So, I haven't really opened up much about this. Like you're really getting like a exclusive Will T exclusive. Like I've never went on the record to talk about this, but just to be, like brief, I got to the point where I felt like, I dream big and I want to be super impactful beyond just some of the boxes that education kind of put me in, like meaning like, when you're coaching at a high school, or you doing, you're under any position, any salary under a specific high school or specific district, they kind of want you focused on that. Like if it's not, it needs to be about these students at this school, right? And I just felt like I kind of, I think I feel like I always bumped head with like leadership just because, you know, it would be moments where they felt like I wasn't all in because I had other stuff going on too, or I had been told that it was a conflict of interest in one position, one of my last positions. When I kind of figured out, I was like, you know what, this is not really what I thought it was gonna be once I got to this like higher position. And the people in control, the superiors told me like what I was doing was kind of a conflict of interest, right? And I was like, you know what? If that's the case, I'm gonna do my own thing. You know what I mean? So I just got to a point where I want to impact more people than just the 300, 400, 500, 1,000 kids at that one particular school. You know, I really want to impact any kid that's going through this process and can benefit from my story from a nationwide aspect. I want to be able to help them. I want to be able to service them, and I want to be able to mentor them. So that's what we've been able to build, you know, over the 5 years that I've, you know, been doing this. So, you know, that was my reason for doing it. I just kind of felt like I was boxed in, and then I was still teaching. I was still in a teaching position. And actually, before I got out of education, I'll just say this, I may go back to education because I love it so much, right? But I just wanted to do my own thing for a minute. But the pandemic hit, and once the pandemic hit, everything went virtual. So I just kind of was like, you know, at the time, um, I was still in Houston and my daughter was in Atlanta, so I just decided to move to Atlanta. And I was like, I'm gonna just rock out and do my own thing and, you know, bet on myself. You know, I'm a bet on me. Always I'm a bet on me. And I just, you know, jumped out there and I started grinding. Like, so that's just pretty much how it happened, man. It was me, Jaleel Johnson, um, you know, Coach Al, my OC, and KB Bennett, you know, Beast, you know, the B squad, you know, that was who I just kind of started rocking with. And we just been grinding. Everybody in their own little lane grinding. And we just been putting in work and we all been growing and building our brands. And, you know, now we just in a position to, I feel comfortable like starting the PPR brand. And when I get people in, I know we can deliver a great product. So, you know, it's been beautiful, man. I ain't gonna lie and say it's been peachy 100% of the time. And that's kind of my story that I want to give to kids. Just, you know, having somebody that's then actually bet on themselves, that's then worked in the corporate world, in the educational professional realm, you know, all that kind of stuff, man. I've been a teacher, I've been a coach, I've been an entrepreneur, and you know, I've experienced a lot. So I want to be able to get that to the kids.
I've got a quote right here from a tweet I saw a few days ago. It said, recruiting is no longer the lifeblood of college athletics. Retention is. So you see a lot of your guys, a lot of guys that you've worked with and just across the state that say, man, the transfer portal is killing me. It's killing me. It's killing my friends. First of all, what's your view on that quote? And then your view on guys like that say, if the portal is just, you know, if they're grabbing guys out of the portal, I'm not going to have an opportunity. Do you think that's true?
I don't know. It's just, you know, my mentality is different. You know what I'm saying? Like just being raised how I was raised, where I come from, you know what I mean? Like it's always about the pivot. It's not really about like what the problem is and complaining about the problem. Is all about the pivot. Like, so if you complaining, you're not evolving. If you complaining, you're not figuring out how to pivot, how to adjust, how to maneuver. So, you know, that's kind of my whole mentality and perspective on that is just like, if you complain and you're not figuring out how to beat the system, and that's just what it is. Like now, you gotta outmarket. You gotta outmarket the recruiting industry. You know what I'm saying? You gotta promote yourself, and you gotta get yourself in front of people. You gotta grind. You gotta do whatever everybody else not willing to do. You gotta invest hours into your Twitter, learning how to Twitter, learning how to work Twitter and brand yourself on there. You can't just sit back and like, you know, expect somebody to come find you. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And everybody, oh, I'm slept on, da da da. Like, but you ain't grinding. You ain't on the road. You ain't, you know, washing cars to save up money to catch a mega bus and go to this camp. Like, that's just the stuff I've seen kids doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the grind you gotta have about yourself. Now it's like, if you're an average kid, they not just, you know what I'm saying, coming to chase you down. Like, you gotta make these people respect you. You gotta put yourself in their face. You gotta be, you know what I'm saying, be resilient. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what the game is, man. If you ain't a 5-star, 4-star type kid, you know, you gotta be out here just grinding. You know what I'm saying? Like, I give you a prime example. Dave, you know what I'm saying? Dave, man, I love Big Dave. You know what I'm saying? Like, Next time you talk to Dave, tell Dave he need to be over here with me. He need to be in my camp. He a hustler, baby. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to get paid. You want to get this money. You know what I'm saying? You want to beast this industry. I like Dave. He's a perfect candidate for PPR. You know what I'm saying? Dave gonna get that sack whether he in football or not. You know what I'm saying? Dave is gonna position himself with his football value, and he's gonna leverage that for business. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of kid you have to be like David. You know what I'm saying? You got to be out here grinding. I saw him almost at every camp last summer. You remember? He was almost at every camp. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Grinding, putting himself out there, networking with the news stations, and that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So you can't complain about where it's at right now. You got to adjust, learn the game, and that's my motto. You know what I'm saying? I don't make the rules. I just learn the game, and I and I win at the game. You know what I mean? That's just what it is.
Well, talking about David, that's a great lead-in to the next thing that we were going to talk about is you went back up to East Lansing. You were there with Andrew Marsh a couple months back, and now you went up there for their spring game with DJ and with Ruben Owens. Talk to me about what that program's doing and what the shift is like there.
Like I said, I've been around 5 years now, and it's recruiting has gotten a little tougher for me now in the sense of when I talk to Ruben's dad all the time about this. It's just like I've seen a lot, and I've been to visited a lot of places, and for me it's like I'm not really excited to go and just go see the same thing over and over and over and over and over. You know what I mean? So like I haven't been a lot of places. I haven't been typically to like the UTs, the Texas A&Ms a lot, like locally in state, because I done that so much over the years. It's kind of like, let me just see what else is out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't tell my kids to be versatile and be open-minded and look for the best fit if I'm not doing that. So a couple years ago, I just kind of got on that. You know what I'm saying? Like getting out here, seeing what else is out here on the trail. Who's looking for Texas kids? What programs have guys in the building that I feel like is going to help the kids grow. And that's pretty much, what I felt at Michigan State. I feel like they putting a great staff together. They have a great staff there. I have some mutual relationships on the staff that I didn't know about until afterwards. And I feel like they just, they putting it together. They're putting a great flow of a staff together. Everything's kind of flowing and it feels organic. And for me, that's important, dog, because I'm not really like, you know what I mean? Like the dog and pony show stuff ain't really for me. You know what I mean? Like I can't really just, sit there and just like, it's like I gotta feel some authentic vibes. It's just cause I don't know that maybe it's how I'm raised. I don't know. Like it's just me. I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So if I ain't feeling the vibes and I ain't feeling, you know what I'm saying, like the energy, I'm not really trying to, rock with it no more. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And I'm gonna go support my kids, wherever my kids decide to go or our kids decide to go, I'm gonna support them. But yeah, I don't get into that. But it's, in terms of me, like I just can't pull up if it ain't a vibe, you know what I mean? So, that's kind of how the Michigan State situation was. It was just a vibe when I went out there. So I was like, man, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And my, the boys came out there, they vibed out, and they had a good time from what they say. So it's been a good deal. It's been a good deal with Michigan State. I'm proud of my boy BT. You know what I mean? My boy BT got it out the mud. He was out in the trenches, like just before he came to Houston. He went to Dallas, and then he came to Houston. And we linked up as soon as he came to Houston. I was doing the Adrian Peterson camp at the time. I needed a D-line coach. You know what I'm saying? My boy was a beast. And it was up ever since then. Me and him, we've been tight ever since then. You know what I'm saying? Like I always, put him on stuff. He always put me on stuff, and we just rocked out. So, uh, man, they took a chance on my dog, man. So, I'm super happy for him. And a lot of people may not say this, but you know me, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna give you the trill spill. You know, I respect Mel Tucker a lot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people wouldn't have took a chance on my dog BT. You know what I'm saying? Like they know he one of the best D-line trainers in the nation. Everybody see him grinding. Everybody see him, putting in work, getting NFL pros, together, and they vibing with him. So, it's kind of hard to say how can he not be an asset to somebody's program? But we understand the parameters and the barriers we have. And I applaud Mel Tucker, you know what I mean, for taking the chance on him and his staff for taking the chance on BT, man. And they're going to benefit greatly from getting somebody like him on their staff as they already have, you know what I'm saying? By, naturally he good people. So good people want to go and support him. So that was another part of us going to Michigan State is like that's our guy. So we pulling up to go support our guy, you know what I'm saying, to support the movement. And more coaches should look into doing that, you know what I'm saying, instead of boxing us out and always trying to put us in recruiting positions. We really sick with it out here when it comes to developing these kids and building relationships with these kids and getting the most out of these kids because we relate to them. So, I applaud Mel Tucker and his staff for taking a chance on a guy like BT. And it's up. It's up. I know my bro gonna turn up. I know Michigan State finna turn up because you got that swag in there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people can try to carbon copy the culture, but when it's real culture, you feel it. You know what I'm saying? And like they gonna turn up. They gonna turn up. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so now we can go ahead and move to some of the guys that you have now. We've mentioned you've got guys like Ruben and DJ that are going to have just about every single program in the country to choose from. But you've got the Texas Stars national squad up this week. Who are some of the guys that we should be looking out for this weekend?
So yeah, we gonna be back on the road actually in May. We're gonna jump back out for the Los Angeles tournament. We won't be live this weekend. Now we're gonna wait until May. So in May we're going to Southern California and we're gonna play in the Shock Doctor tournament, they last tournament. But yeah, man, it's been great, man. I've been kind of on the road, and our kids are getting ready for spring ball and taking some unofficial visits. So we kind of took a little break to let them get out and take some unofficial visits before their spring ball. So they develop some relationships with coaches as they come in town. And then they'll have some relationships with them going into June when they go to camp. So that's pretty much, why we took a little break. But I'm excited about our team this year, man. Like I didn't know how it would go. And I'm very meticulous and intentional about the kids that I go and try to get. I pretty much how I do things, whatever kids come out, try out, you know what I'm saying? I take those kids and I try to piece them and see where I think they will fit in our program identity-wise. And we put a plan together for them. Some, executed some, put in the effort more than others, but that's what we do. So I'm excited about our team this year. I'm excited about, I was very concerned with, I'll go on the record, I was very concerned with replacing Tanner Murray. Tanner Murray is a generational quarterback. Um, you know, UTSA I don't want to say they got a steal, but they're getting a great kid. They're getting a great talent. And I was very concerned because I was just like, there's no way we're gonna replace Turner. I was just like, I actually was trying to get him to play this year. I was like, man, we're gonna go to some tournaments and they'll let unsigned kids play, man. Let's do it. But I will say, man, Denham Johnson surprised me. Denham surprised me a lot. I didn't know he was that good. I did know Denham was nice because Denham had came to one of my camps and I think middle school and won MVP. So I knew he was good, but I didn't know Denham was as good as he is. I would say that Denham is the truth. Denham is the truth, man. I call him baby Kyler Murray, man. You know, C King is gonna be in good hands this year with Denham behind under center. You know, so Denham, obviously, Jacoby is a problem. You know what I mean? Jacoby is a problem. He's been able to help himself this offseason even more, just put himself out there as a receiver, because a lot of programs are concerned about him playing receiver because he don't have a lot of receiver film. So we made a value effort to make sure they understand that Jacoby Banks is one of the best wide receivers in the nation, hands down. Period. It's not even debatable. Just click on the film, and it speaks for itself. Man, Rando Funno, DB that's been picking up offers like crazy. Quarterback for his high school as well, athlete. He came out the first day and went to quarterback at tryout, and excuse my French, I was like, man, get your A on the defensive side of the ball. Don't even come over here no more. So he's been able to develop a little bit with Jaleel Johnson and pick up some offers. I mean, I feel like I'm at a award show. I'm trying not to forget nobody. Caleb, I already said Rando. Who else we got? Andrew Marsh, 2025. Andrew Marsh, 2025 is going to be a great one out of Katie Jordan. And we got some sleeper kids too, man. We got some kids that, just a good ball player. CJ Sweeney out of Shadow Creek. He's been great for us this season. Dwayne Harris. Dwayne Harris is a kid that was a developmental kid that came to us. He's at C King as well. DJ, he's coming along as well. I got a kid named Dean. I mean, we got studs, you know what I'm saying? We got studs, and I think you saw that at the tournament, at the Shock Doctor tournament, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody was able to see it. You know, we don't do all the capping and all that other kind of all the theatrics, man. We just get to work. We just play and we ball, and everybody saw it. Everybody like, oh, they went against the Cali Stars and almost beat the Star. I'm like, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't matter who we playing against, whatever big names, whatever. Our kids gonna play hard, man. Win, lose, or draw, by however many points our kids gonna. When we locked in and we ready to go in the tournament, that's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? We could play when my team is fully staffed. We'll play any team in the nation. We'll play them and we'll compete against them if it's some real football being played. Because some of these tournaments, they just out there, for WWE or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm talking about real football tournaments where we playing ball. We gonna line up and we gonna compete against any team in the nation. So I feel good about our team and what we've been able to do this year. A lot of guys been able to put themselves out there. A lot of guys then picked up offers. A lot of guys then developed, and they're gonna be ready to ball come this June in some camps. You already see some of our kids picking up MVPs. Tayshawn, our lockdown corner. You know what I'm saying? He been grinding with us for 2 years, 3 years. Tay got out the mud. Tay didn't. What you see right now with Tay, he didn't start out that way. Tay grind. Tay put in work nonstop to work for where he's at right now. He's a 4-star, should be a 4-star All-American, one of the best cornerbacks in the nation. And you find me a receiver, he'll line up with him and compete. I don't care who he is. He the best cornerback that I done seen. And that's just me. I'm not even being biased. Check the stats. He done won with 4 MVPs at the camps, Under Armour, the All-American camp in San Antonio. I mean, it seemed like every camp he go to, he win MVP. You know what I mean? 4-star. So, a lot of people try to say the size because Tay is short. He's shorter than, he ain't 6'3" or whatever. But look at the 5, you had a kid from Cali, the 5-star that's been snagging one hands on there. He locked him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't throw the jump ball on Tay. You can't throw the 50-50 jump ball on him. If you beat him, you better put it on the money because he got closing speed. He run mid-10s. So he straps. You know what I mean? One of the best cornerbacks in the nation. So that's just a quick snapshot of, who we got on the team. I may be missing a few, but that's pretty much the core guys on the team, man. And we're excited about what we've been able to do this year. Shock Doctor, big shout out to Shock Doctor. They brought us on this year, and I'm sure they didn't think we was gonna be this popping. You know what I mean? But yeah, we rocking with Shock Doctor, man. Shock Doctor Houston, that's the movement. We're gonna turn it up some more. Next year, Shock Doctor got a facelift in H-Town, man. You know what I'm saying? We came through, we turned it up, and we put on like Houston supposed to do. And we're gonna take it up a notch. We got some big stuff planned for Shock Doctor next year. We already planning for it. We're gonna take it up a notch. And I'm gonna reload the team again next year with some dogs. They ain't even gotta be popular. As long as you're a dog, we're gonna drip you out and we're gonna go turn up. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's the 7-on-7 world, man. I'm excited about 7-on-7, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. The overtime league coming up. Shock Doctor's ready to come back next year. Shock Doctor got the best 7-on-7 tournament circuit to me. I just feel like they the most balanced. I feel like you're gonna get some drip and you're gonna it's controlled enough for you to like really get work. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these tournaments, it's just too crazy, bro. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's too much, bro. Like it's too many theatrics. I ain't knocking it, it's something for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But I like Shock Doctor because I think Shock Doctor is ran the best. It's the most balanced in terms of the content you can get media-wise, the content they produce, the swag, you know what I mean? Like it's a great balance. I'll put it like that. So if you haven't been to a Shock Doctor tournament, man, you missing out. You know what I'm saying? Next year, they're gonna adjust in terms of the locations a little bit. I can't go into details because they haven't finalized it, but we're gonna make sure it's in popping cities. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna change that. So, Shock Doctor, it's up, man. We here. That's the new brand.
We know you're gonna build up these guys. You're gonna build up everything that you're involved in, and you're definitely gonna build up the city of Houston. Repping the Screwed Up Click tonight. So
you already know.
I know that you don't do a lot of interviews, so I really appreciate you coming on. Got to get your insight on a lot of things that we've talked about before, and hopefully we'll get to talk about again soon. So Mike West, thank you very much for coming on, and I'll see you soon.
My pleasure. Hey man, my pleasure, Will. Hey, big shout out to Will. Hey, he the next man up. Been killing it, man. Hey, I just want to encourage you, man. Keep grinding, man. Keep doing what you're doing. You never know who's watching. And I'm proud of you too, man. VYPE got a superstar in the making. And I'm thankful for VYPE, for allowing you to have this platform as well. And man, we're gonna do our best to support you, man, and make this thing pop even more. We're gonna try to turn this one up. And whoever I can get you on here, I got you, bro. So keep balling, man. Keep putting on for the city.
Thanks again, Mike. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Let's go ahead and send it back to the show.
Will, thanks again for that great interview with Mike West. I mean, hey, we've done it. We've kind of run the gambit as far as interviews. Not saying we're done with interviews, but we've had recruits, we've had a coach. Now we've had Mike West. Kind of like I said, the Don of Houston. So I got a coach I want to get on soon and hope to get him on soon. But Will, thanks a lot for doing that, man.
Yeah, of course. Like I said, extremely happy to have Mike on, and hopefully he's able to stay involved with everything that we have going on here at VYPE.
That's right. Couldn't have said it better myself. Something else I can't say any better is it's time for Under the Radar segment for this week. Under the Radar is, of course, a segment where we take a look at some athletes that we consider under the radar for one reason or another. Maybe they're a high-profile athlete and they only have a couple of offers for one reason or another, or they're not a high-profile athlete, but we feel like they should be getting some offers. So one reason or another, these are our athletes, and we consider them under the radar. This week, I'll go first this week. Let me go ahead and jump in first. I'm going to give you a man from Kingwood High School, Cameron Burks. He is middle linebacker and a fullback. I think mainly probably middle linebacker, though, is probably where you'd want to, kind of classify himself as. He's an all-district, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 3.8 GPA, 3 years as a varsity captain. I mean, you talk about a man that plays in a tough district that's going to be set up wherever he goes. I mean, he plays in the same district as North Shore, state champions coming up. So he's getting that experience. Kingwood may not be the best when it comes to records. I think they won 1 game last year. But when you look on an individual player level, this man is setting himself up for success by being able to play in such a tough district. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year speaks for itself right there. Last year, 89 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 11 tackles per loss, all district. Like I said, just plays in one of the toughest districts, playing against D1 prospects left and right. So you've seen his highlight footage while I've been talking. So my under the radar for this week, Cameron Burks. Jackson, who's your under the radar for this week?
So my under the radar athlete this week is actually a kid that I've gotten the chance to see a couple times in 7-on-7 tournaments, but his coach from Team Texas Fury, Coach Grant, DM'd me about him. It's Cameron Thomas, wide receiver from New Caney, class of 2023. He's 6'3", 190, long, lengthy wide receiver that is a vertical threat down the field, but also can catch hard possession type of passes. He is a guy who I expect to start picking up some offers. He's been talking to Texas State and Louisiana Tech as of late, and I expect him to get that first offer pretty soon and also start to build upon that.
Will, let's turn it over to you now. Who is your under the radar athlete for this week?
Yeah, Wac, I'm actually staying in the same district as you over on the east side, from North Shore High School. Terrence Guillory II. He's a wide receiver and defensive back in the class of 2024. This guy's a Swiss Army knife for North Shore. I've seen him at wideout. I've seen him return kicks, obviously DB too. This is a guy that doesn't have any offers at this point, but I would expect that to change as the camp season comes around.
There you go. Once again, folks, if you know someone that you might consider under the radar, hit us up in those DMs, hit us up in the comments, send us an email. We will cover your athletes. We've got some stockpile already from coming the week. So definitely let us know if you know an athlete that is under the radar, and we will get them covered on this show. That's going to do it for our show this week. Episode 12 in the books. Before we go, always got to turn it over to you guys, get some shout outs. Now, Jackson, you already kind of gave the big shout out of the show, but I'll let you go first to close this out here.
Well, I want to correct myself because earlier I said Scott's last name wrong. Scott Terrell. Scott had his baby girl, Lily, yesterday. Congratulations, Scott. We hope that you and Lily and your wife, Linda, have a great time in these next couple of weeks getting to know each other. Also, shout out to Fury 7-on-7. They've been reaching out, very popular with us, just helping us get kids' names out there. So shout out to Fury and shout out to Scotty T this week.
Will, let's turn it over to you. Who are you shouting out this week?
Yeah, shout out to Scotty T. I'm sure Lily will be on the links pretty soon. And shout out to Craig Royal for letting me know where he's committed, a guy from Strict Jesuit. And shout out to Damian Sanford, who received an offer from the University of Houston about 20 minutes before we started recording.
And of course, I am also going to shout out Scott. Congratulations on the newborn Future Survivor winner, right, Scott? If you're watching, you'll agree to that. If that show's still around in 20 years, that would be amazing if it was. Also, shout out to Will. Will's going to step up and call the Greater Houston Area Girls All-Star Game for us on Saturday on VYPE. So be ready for that. Will, thanks for stepping in last minute for that, and it's going to be awesome to see you on the call. You haven't been on a VYPE broadcast in a while, but excited to have you on the call for this one.
Yeah, excited to be on it. It's been about 6 months since my last broadcast. That was with Josh Cook at St. Pius when they played St. Thomas. So big game was my last one, and big game on Saturday.
That's right. Ken said it better. A bunch of great athletes coming on. I mean, last year we had Roy Hartman on, and we know what she's done at Texas. So great stuff coming up for us. And stay tuned for that. That's going to be our show for today. Once again, thanks for everyone for tuning in. We'll be back next Friday at noon. Until then, I'm Wac, Jackson, and Will, and we'll see you at the games.